This is a continuation of part one. I left off at number 3, the lack of common sense. I wanted to elaborate on when I said that black women will put themselves out there way too soon. And specifically what I mean by that is they'll either tell too much information about themselves, or will sleep with the guy too soon, or if they're not sleeping with him, they will ask for money, or expect the guy to start helping them take care of the children or something like that. So basically, within the first week, I've noticed that with some of the black women that I've been friends with, within the first week, they will basically try to put this stuff into a relationship. And what I mean by lacking the common sense, I mean that if you had common sense enough to realize that relationships take time to develop, and there's a reason why they take time to develop, because those certain things that you expect for that person to do, you need to sit back and watch if they are honestly doing it because they really care about you and they really want to love you, or B, are they doing it to try and get something out of you, to try to use you for something. And there is no possible way, unless you're some kind of, I don't know, psychic or whatever it is, there's no possible way that you can get around finding that stuff out that early on in the relationship. So common sense kind of tells you, in order to watch out for myself, I need to sit back and observe. I need to sit back and watch, because every single time it will never fail that you will get into some drama every single time you don't sit back and watch. Okay, number 4 is reaction to abuse. I believe that a lot of these black women out here have been abused, either mentally, verbally, physically, or sexually. And sometimes it's a combination of all. That's usually the most extreme cases, but other times it's probably just either one of those, which I think we need to get out there in the black community that abuse is abuse, and it doesn't matter what form it comes in. It's just as equally damaging to your mental being, your physical being, when you don't address it. Now, women, and there are studies that have shown this when it comes to behavioral patterns, that women will naturally become promiscuous when they are reacting to stress. A large amount of stress, bad stress, I mean. So if that woman is mentally going through some type of stress, because, women are emotional because of the estrogen levels and the progesterone levels in our body. Everything that our body does is always a reaction to a chemical production. Emotions are a reaction to it, most definitely. So basically, when we are incorporating our emotions into the reaction to any sort of abuse that we've went through, we start being irrational, completely irrational. We start developing patterns of behavior that basically just lead to self-destruction. There was a lady back at home where once she found out she had AIDS, she just went to all these clubs and started sleeping with all these guys. And I believe she died, I think, 2006 or whatnot. But yeah, I mean, they had, and before she died, she left a note to her mom of names of all these guys that she slept with, and it was literally like a couple hundred within that last year of her life. So it's like, people when, we was at work and they was talking about her, and it was, oh, she's all sorts of whores, and what kind of sense does that make? What was wrong with her? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, if you look at, like I wrote a comment on one of these videos, 97% of our homes out here are dysfunctional, period. There's one way, I don't care what class you come from, there's some sort of dysfunction going on that can basically ruin a person if they don't have the right skills to build up those correct defense lines. See, we always want to come up with a way to defend ourselves, to try not to get hurt. So the reaction to the abuse is basically a way to not get hurt. And the bad thing about it is that when you're in the middle of the situation, you don't see that your action of self-destruction is actually hurting you more than defending you. So that's why in the black community, we need means of getting the information out there that, look, first of all, let's get general information about how the human body works. I'm a firm believer that the human body is a clear statement of what's going on inside. So if you get to what's going on inside of you, that's going to reflect what's going on outside of you. Okay, but that's my opinion on the reaction to abuse. Number 5 is to regain the power, try to regain power by using sex as a weapon. I believe that a lot of black women will hold on to the whole entire idea that, my coochie is golden. And instead of having high self-esteem, they'll think that that's the only way, by using their sex and their sexuality, that is the only way that they can get what they want out of a relationship. Some of them use it on their jobs. Those are only 2 examples I can think of. But basically here, black women, we come to a point in our lives, and I believe it's probably around 17 or 18 for general women, where we try and regain whatever it is. We start to try and regain whatever it is that we are lacking. And what I mean by power, I don't mean control. What I mean by power, when you have power, you have the mental ability to, how can I say? You have the mental ability to look at any situation and start to systematically break that situation down, because you have the knowledge and the skills to start solving problems. That's what our power should be. That is what I believe black people as a whole are very, very good at doing, if we develop the skills to do that. So that mental power, I think as a whole, we know we're lacking in that. We start to realize that around 17, 18 years old. And that's usually probably average age where women start becoming sexually active. So they start seeing that, oh, well, I got something that guys want. They act like they want it. So this is it. There's a big difference between feeling and what actually is. So this is a way of feeling like you're having that power. And you turn around and you reverse that by trying to be in control of things that you literally don't have any control over. So with that being said, we need to come up with ways to regain our power back. And I mean power by the mental ability to critically think our way through situations in where the outcome comes out to not only benefit us, but to benefit our children and our men. We are taking care of ourselves, therefore taking care of other parts of our families just as well. And that is how you truly build up the defense mechanism that needs to be there to protect ourselves.